And oops, I'm not supposed to use bad words. I'm sorry. I know a lot of you are like, words matter. They don't. They so don't. You've been tricked. You've been tricked into worrying about, that's generally the excuse. If somebody starts complaining about the language you're using, it's their way out. They don't like what you're saying. They can't actually argue an intelligent debate, an intelligent point. So they say, "Oh, you're using words that I don't like. I'm an adult. You're an adult, but don't use those words." Now, if you were to say flarfin, flarfin would be okay. Or if you were to say flukin, or frickin, or flackin, or fudgin, or frukin, or flop lip 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 blap blap blap, it wouldn't matter. But if you say again, YouTube's gonna censor you. Why are my comments being shut off? Why don't people address these things? Why do so many people watch me and comment, but don't comment anything? Like I'm literally asking you guys. Tell me what I'm not understanding. What keeps happening? I figured out on the previous feed, if the comments get stopped, that all I had to do was shut the feed off for a second and restart it, and then the comments would come through. But then on the last feed, that was patched. I don't know. I don't know what you call it. This is crazy. How does somebody like me, like, if I'm not making any sense, why does this happen? Make this make sense. This is crazy. I have some ideas and provided a temporary solution, but I'm not really, I'm not sure it really answers your questions concerned. No, you know the answer. You already know what's happening. It's just, I don't know. I think a lot of it has to do with our own personal insecurities, right? I think it's way too. You have been taught to be inferior your whole life, so it it it's not possible for you to accept the fact that you might have actually stumbled onto that guy that the system is actually really scared of, and that guy that's not the goofy white guy with the bald hair and big beard and big beard full of fecal matter, because that's what happens. Think about it. You sit on the toilet, your legs are open. As you poop, the displacement happens, that the poop comes out. That means the air inside, the space inside has to accommodate that space that just got filled. So the air that's in there that your poop replaces comes up through the biggest hole it can, the easiest hole it can, bringing all sorts of microscopic poop particles into your big nasty beard. Just think about that. That's gross. Well, why aren't you here to debate? It's all good. Everything is a debate. My feelings never get hurt. You can't hurt my feelings. If you disagree with me, that's cool. My counterpoint to that would be that if it's true, the people you are referring to could shut down a lot more that just the chat on your live feed. That's true. That is true. But then I think they use me. I think they use people like me. I'm a good window into the way that we potentially are thinking. And I point out a lot of holes in the system that you'll find get patched. Like the fact that I could restart my feed and it would just work again on the second to last feed, but then last feed it wasn't working. Things like Wikipedia, being able to go to Wikipedia, clicking on edit history, and then going all the way back to the first edit. That used to be easy. On March 7th of 2023, that was an easy thing to do. I mean, it took a lot of clicks, but it was easy. Now it's a lot more difficult. I think this is a great way of not only gauging what people like me think, but how many people, excuse me, agree with it. The support that someone like me is going to get. Trust me, once I get big enough, they won't let it keep happening. It's what it is. You know, the last few days that the views were doubling, 15,000, 27,000, blah, blah, blah. I actually was getting worried because I thought, shit, if this doubles again, I'm kind of going to be like, they're going to shut it down. But they want to know. They can't just, and they also can't give that validity, right? That validity that if I wasn't allowed to do anything, like, why wouldn't I be allowed to? I'm using their speech, which is my dog. It's type. No, I get you. It's all good. I wouldn't even caught that actually. The problem is if you have a dude voice, it's gonna pick up my dude voice as well. Screw your shit up. But it doesn't matter. You do what you gotta do. I personally, I can't. Like, if I'm typing shit, I can't have it have grammatical errors. I definitely, proofread everything I said because it's a matter of personal pride for me. I don't want to give, and it's because of what I deal with. I mean, you see it at this point. If I screw up even a little bit, somebody that's looking for the excuse, looking for the way out, is going to take it. So whereas me pointing out grammatical errors is me being a douche dick Nazi, grammar Nazi. When it's done to me, it's legitimate because I should be smarter than that. And I hold myself to a higher standard. So I would hope that if I did something like that, you would call me out. Like I said, you're better for it. At this point, you're better for it. For the rest of your life, you're better for having corrected your grammar. What do you think about the war in Israel and Gaza going on right now, and the Lebanese ceasefire, and the remaining hostages held by Hamas? Well, there are no hostages being held by Hamas. It's not a war going on in Gaza. It is a genocide. And the Lebanese ceasefire will only last until Israel decides to break it, which will be next week, probably. They probably just did the ceasefire so the American Thanksgiving bullshit could go down. And next week, Israel will start the bombing campaign again like they always do. Israel always breaks the ceasefires. Why is there a ceasefire? It always works out that Israel does some big ass attack and kills a bunch of people, and then it's like, all right, now we'll do the ceasefire. We have to get that last attack in, and now we'll do it. But there are no Israeli hostages. That's for damn sure. That's fake. If there were, they would have been gotten by now. Israel doesn't play when it comes to that shit. Earlier in 2023, when a dumb chosen idiot was drunk and driving recklessly through the Palestinian territory and crashed and killed himself. Apparently his body was stolen from the hospital. He went to the Palestinian hospital. They took him to the Palestinian hospital, and his body was stolen. And Israel was gearing up to do what they did in response to October 7th. Just because this body was stolen, and they believe that the body has to be buried 72 hours and blah, blah, blah. And if the body wasn't returned within 24 hours, they were going to bring the whole fucking military in and just wipe everything out like they ended up doing. And I think that the general consensus was like, you can't do that. The people won't stand for you bringing the genocide over a dead body. You got to orchestrate something different, bigger. And that's what they did for October 7th. But the idea that they were going to bring the military to get a dead body, and yet you're supposed to believe that they have over, I think it's only around 50 anymore. I think 150 of the two, maybe it's 100. that somehow there are all these hostages being held and Israel's just allowing it. According to Benny Gantz, they know where they are. They know, even though when the Hamas leaders were asked how many hostages are there and where they are, they don't know, because apparently big badass Hamas has hostages living in civilian houses all over the place. Where, I mean, the narrative is just insane. The narrative is insane. When you hear this, oh yeah, well they have, prior to October 7th, Israel had killed 273 people, I believe. 273 civilians had been killed. Most of which women and children, just like always. And thousands had been taken hostage. Thousands illegally arrested and taken hostage. So the true death count is unknown. It was set up to be the deadliest year for the Palestinians since 2006. And yet, that's like, if Hamas had really attacked, it wouldn't have been justified for any of that stuff. No. If Israel keeps attacking and doing these death squad raids every night at 3 a.m, and they're going through neighborhoods and just kicking in doors and shooting, and it was just reading the daily news in 2022, 2023 was a nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare. And to think that all of these countries allow this to happen, like all these Muslim countries, even though a lot of the people that are being killed are Christians. So it's interesting how the only time the church has spoken up about the whole conflict in recent years that I can remember is on October 7th, when they condemned the terrible atrocities of Hamas, using paragliders and somehow kidnapping people on motorcycles. Do you know how stupid that shit is? Do you know how unbelievably stupid this narrative is? There's literally no proof that what they say happened. They say that Hamas launched 5,000 rockets in the first 20 minutes. But because it happened so fast, there was no footage of it. 5,000 rockets is 4 rockets every second for 20 minutes. Somehow Hamas was able to sneak all these rockets in. Can't sneak in lumber, can't sneak in food, medicine, none of that shit. But they can sneak in not only 5,000 rockets, but enough rocket launchers to launch four rockets every second for 20 minutes. It's just stupid. It's just stupid. Look at this dumbass. He's going to say all kinds of shit. Let's see. There's over 100 hostages still in Gaza. No, there's not. It's fake. So what Israel does is they decide to target someone, right? So this happened when they supposedly found those 4 hostages just living amongst the people. This is the narrative they give you. Yeah, they've killed over 46,000, mostly women and children, and taken so many thousands hostage and displaced millions. But around 1,100 of them were killed on October 7th. And actually, they don't even say that. They don't say around 1,100 Israelis were killed. They say around 1,100 people in Israel were killed. And if you are familiar with Israeli news, they don't refer to themselves as people in Israel. They refer to themselves as Israeli, or the people of Israel. It's really important that you look at how this is reported every single time. And the narrative is that they initially killed 1,500 Hamas in Israel that day. So when they say around 1,100 people were killed in Israel, implying that it was Israelis, they're just lying. Kind of like how a few months ago, they were pushing this narrative that somehow some artillery got through and hit a soccer field and killed 12 Israeli children. It was the 12 Israeli children were killed. The 12 tribes of Israel. The 12 Israeli children were killed. And they were running with this narrative, and it was really bad, and Lebanon is super bad. And I immediately thought, how the hell did a rocket get through the Iron Dome and happen to hit a soccer field, killing 12 Israeli children? That does not happen. If you look at this entire narrative, there's literally no videos, no proof of Israelis being harmed in any way whatsoever. You can find endless videos of Palestinians being bombed, burned, beaten, tortured. You know, the soldiers putting the lingerie on and taking pictures, and just the worst things you could ever imagine are being bragged about, and they're all over the internet. And you can't find a single video that makes Israel look like a victim. A single fucking video. And that goes all the way back to October 7th, when supposedly the most heavily surveilled area in that region got attacked by all these people, and there's no footage of it. The only footage you get is somehow the Palestinians overtook a tank, and instead of using that tank to cause damage and destruction, they took video of themselves dancing on it. Yay, look, we did it. That's what you do? That's how that works? There's no video of them paragliding in or all these motorcycles coming. Nothing. No video, no proof of any of that narrative. Just like there's not 1,100 funerals that took place afterward. And we all know how important it is that Israelis have their funerals. So much so that a story here in Detroit, 3 weeks after October 7th, on October 21st, Samantha Wool was supposedly killed by Michael Jackson Bolanos, even though he didn't do it, and they tried to throw the book at him and they couldn't. So they instead gave him 18 months to 25 years for lying to police. That was the only thing they could get him with. And they 18 years or 18 months to 25 years. Have you ever heard of a crazy ass bullshit like that? But it turned out that her boyfriend actually admitted to doing the killing, but then was given immunity because he said he was just having a negative reaction to his psychotropic medication, and he hit his weed pen a couple times, and that made him falsely confess to killing his girlfriend, because you know that happens all the time. But the craziest part of that story is she was supposedly killed between 1:30 in the morning and 4:30 in the morning. And the newspaper and that was on October 21st, 2023. The newspaper on October 22nd, 2023, early morning edition, talks about how beautiful her funeral was, that 1,000 people or more, that over 1,000 people attended on her funeral yesterday. So on October 22nd, they're saying her funeral yesterday was beautiful and was attended by over 1,000 people. How is it possible to have someone be killed early in the morning and later on that day you have a funeral that 1,000 people could just drop what they're doing and attend? Family members from all over the world that might have wanted to be there, they just get there. Whatever funerals or whatever the service the place already had planned, they're put on hold. Whatever medical investigations are because you know we like the joke is the backlog with the medical examiners is always so big, so long that you know things get put on it takes weeks for things to happen, weeks, because there's just so much, they're so overwhelmed. Yet these people die, and somehow a proper medical examination has taken place within the first few hours of being dead, and it could just be, okay, that's it, let's bury her. Funeral and buried within a few hours of being dead. How is that even possible? Can anybody tell me how that's possible? This started because of October 7th, largest terrorist attacks since 9/11. They offered a deal to release terrorist prisoners for the soldiers' body. Hamas declined. That's not true. That's not true. You don't even know what you're talking about. You're so dumb. That's not how that worked. The body disappeared. Nobody knew who took the body. Israel threatened to bring the war. The next day, the body showed up. There was no deal. This is your typical lion chosen piece of shit. This is your tip. That's what they do. They're really really dumb, and they have no quorums with lying. They just lie and say stupid shit again, like a funeral that took place hours after somebody died. Bro, you should contact Iran. You're their greatest ally in America, telling people exactly what the terrorists want you to hear. You're insane. Notice how this person can't deny anything I'm saying? They just say stupid shit and then they go to these crazy extremes. This is typical. This is your typical Jay. Bro, you're hitting the point on the meaning. Bring it in your brain. Let's oh, there's too many things here. Yeah, dude, I'm dumb. I'm so happy that I can learn from you. You should learn, cause you're dumb. I mean, you're really dumb. You know, everything I'm telling you is tell me what I'm wrong about. Go ahead and tell me about Samantha Wool and how she was killed on October 21st and had a funeral on October 21st. You tell me how that happens. How are you killed early morning and you have your funeral later that day that over 1,000 people attend? This is like they're not going. This is where the stupidity starts coming in. This is why I don't generally engage in the comments, because it's usually just such stupid nonsense. Do I at least believe in Jesus? No, I'm not stupid. Christianity comes from Second Temple Judaism. It's nonsense. It's just a control scheme. Literally, it's the dumbest thing. Don't joke about Jesus, man. Yep. There you go. And then, see, look at this. Look at how desperate and stupid these people are. They desperately trying to get the conversation to go in a different direction because they don't want you guys talking about this. They don't want you guys putting two and two together. If Samantha Wool had a funeral later that day, where are the around 1,100 funerals in Israel for all the people that supposedly died on October 7th? Oh, there's a list of names. Yeah, there's a list of names. Anybody can create a list of names. Interesting how there's no disruption, no nothing, huh? Oh, you're going to pray for me, Cher? If anybody believes in the power of prayer even a little bit, you believe that your arrogance, of course, you believe that God listens to your prayers, you know? You should be praying for nothing but God steps in and stops the clergy from continuing to rape children, little boys. Because that's God's house. We can worry about the pedo stuff in the rest of the world afterward, but let's first get it to stop in God's house. And if you think anything else is more important than stopping that, you're probably partake. You're probably involved a lot more than people think. Nothing I do, nothing about me, nothing wrong, no hard times I have, nothing is worse than being yet another child being violated by some cardinal or some other clergy in the Vatican. So, don't be stupid. Don't pray for me. If you believe in your arrogant ability to make the God of the universe change his plan and do things differently than he was originally intending, because that's basically what prayers are, right? You're praying that God's plan includes you, and if it didn't, then he changes his mind and includes you. And if you believe that you can affect God in any way and get God to do anything whatsoever, get him to stop the clergy and the church from raping children. When that happens, I'll believe you. I'll believe it's real. When suddenly anybody that's involved in violating children starts having heart attacks in the church, I will believe that your God exists. But until then, you're pretty gross. You're pretty gross and you're pretty selfish because you're willing to overlook such an atrocity, such atrocious, disgusting nonsense, so you can go to heaven when you die. It's real, like this, the whole, the goofy Israeli chosen douche. He's not gonna say anything. What's he gonna say? The thing with these guys is they're gonna go, okay, well, it's biblical. Everything we do is biblical, and you go, yeah, but that's nonsense. The Bible's not real. It's stupid. It's a stupid book written by your people to control the rest of us. It's really, really stupid. Well, then that's anti-Semitism. Or usually they'll call you anti-Semitic, and then you have to correct them and say no, 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 Semitic. I know you want to think that the chosen people, the Jays, that they own everything, including Semitic, but they don't. Semitic refers to all of the people in that region. So black, brown, white, all of them. Whether it's Palestinians, it's Iranians, it's Iraqis, it's Syrians, it's Egyptians, it's whatever. Any of those northern or North African countries and all that region there, those are Semitic people. So it's not just Jays. And you go, no, no. See, I'm proud of my anti-Semitism because I don't believe in a policy or predisposition favorable to the Jews. That's not. I don't believe anybody deserves any sort of favor or supremacy. So make sure when you're calling me names, you get those names right, right? And understand that like that understand like what's happening here, like this desperation here that these people will use these words because once you point that out to them and you point out that, look, I'm not your average goyim. I'm a lot smarter than you are. I know what words mean. That's when they just get mad and start saying stupid shit. Because the first two things that are supposed to work, the things that everybody's been programmed to fall for, when those things don't work anymore, they start getting stupid. And it's really interesting to see how it happens over and over again. Let's see. What nonsense did you say that I'm supposed to answer for? I mean, it's so embarrassing how stupid these people are. I tried to look up your comment, but I guess no answer is not coming through. Somebody that says Epstein didn't kill himself is saying MAGA, MAGA, MAGA. Then you should ask your buddy Trump why he covered it up. Why the Trump administration covered up Epstein's death, and why Trump was best friends with Epstein for many years. Him, Epstein, and Stephanopoulos were known as the Three Amigos or the Three Musketeers, one of the two. I think it's the Three Amigos. In the New York nightlife scene for years and years, decade. The 80s and shit, those three were always together. So when Trump covered up his death and refused to do any sort of investigation, how come the MAGA people never want to talk about that shit? Right? Look at the comment that he says. Yeah. Because he's dumb enough to fall for Trump, I must be dumb enough to fall for Harris. Again, I don't even usually engage this anymore because it's just so typical. Like they literally, like, it's like they're all reading the same speech. They can't make any reasonable arguments. They can't say anything reasonably intelligent. They can't answer for the things that you pose to them. Like, again, why did Trump cover up Epstein's death? They were best buddies. He should have been more interested in the death. But they don't like that shit. They just start saying dumb shit. Hey, why did Trump give us COVID? Why are you guys so okay with the guy that gave us COVID? Why has everybody forgotten that Trump gave us COVID? Locked everyone down. People lost their businesses, their livelihoods. because the Trump administration locked everyone down. And Trump wanted to inject people with bleach. Remember? He was like, can't we just inject with bleach or some sort of light device? That's how smart that guy is. And all of these things are not things that Kamala brought up for some reason. Not because they're all in the same fucking shit show and it's all just, it's all about the manipulation. No, that's not it. I mean, these guys are just so stupid. Look at, not a single comment will address what's being said. Especially from the guy that said Epstein didn't kill himself. Right? You have the audacity to have a name like that, but then you're going to be stupid enough to not back it up. The bleach and light treatments were actually treatments in the late 1800s and 1900s. Yeah, huh. Well, I wonder why they stopped doing it. So stupid. Oh my God. Oh, thank you, Jesus Christ. Heaven exists because people don't want to believe that all our loved ones die and we'll never see them again. They will meet them. Think about that, though. Think about, like, once you go to heaven, how long are you responsible for that? How many generations are you responsible? Are you, when your third cousin 5 times removed on your mother's grandma's uncle's side, when they die, do you have to be there? Like, how does that all work? Wouldn't you constantly be there waving at people? Hey, I'm cousin from cousins of cousin. Yep. It's so stupid. The funniest thing is, like, everybody believes their relative is up above in heaven and not in hell, where they all are. They all had sex before they were married. They all ate meat. They all said, God damn it, once or twice in their life. I think it's funny as shit. Oh, now Epstein can address what's being said. People die, so what? Well, what about Trump being best buddies with Epstein and covering up his death? What about that part? This guy. Yep. Now, how heaven, you don't go there and you die. Read your Bible, yep. I would vote for you. Well, I would eliminate your people as soon as I had the power. You guys would be, your shit would be illegal, and everybody that had ties to it would be outed from government immediately. We would immediately stop giving money to Israel, and everybody with ties, dual Israeli citizenship, all that shit would be immediately removed. Synagogues would be shut down, all of it. That supremacy bullshit would not be allowed to exist in my world. Well, I need to be medicated. Yep, because you can't argue me. But I agree. Let's get medicated. Are you racist? Jays aren't a race. Sorry. That's a belief structure. And it's a horrible belief structure. I don't support any religious belief structure. We would get rid of all of it, for sure. It would all be gone. But we would start with that one. Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You try to, hey, right, to see what's going on. Oh, yep, that must be it. Yeah, all power is a conspiracy. All belief, yeah. The definition of a conspiracy is 2 or more people getting together to affect the outcome of a situation. So every single thing you believe is a conspiracy, one way or another. You just choose which one you like. That's what I always say. It's all about what you like. You don't have any proof for anything you believe. Religion has given you more science and beauty than anything. Yeah. What about when Trump was best buddies with Epstein and then covered up his death there? Epstein didn't kill himself. What about that part? Let's talk about that part. He bases, you mean bashes everyone but Islam. Yep, I never say anything bad about Islam. This dude has an aneurysm every time and reads, yep, aneurysm every time. He keeps bringing it up. Look, this is why I don't bother. So Trump. Yep, disregard what you said. Yep. Why don't you answer for why you have the audacity to call yourself Epstein didn't kill himself, but you want to ignore the main part. We've been talking about that since before you said your dumb shit. So let's go back to before your latest dumb shit and answer for who you are. Or at least you claim you are. Let's see. There's an artist in Germany. Yeah. Didn't happen. What didn't happen? You guys are giving him the attention he wants. He's not going to help himself because some comment said so. It's hard. Blah, blah, blah. Too bad you can't fucking say anything that matters. You literally typed all that shit instead of going, hey, dude, you're wrong about this. Why don't you look at that? Why not this? You could have said anything else, but instead, yep, that makes sense. How about the people that died in the Titan sub? Yep, because the TV said so, so it must be true. Look, that is really Mrs. Claus right there. It's on the TV. The TV said so, right? Yep, I'm gay. That must be it. Sweetheart, I'm gay now. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Hey guys, I'm sorry. I'm gay now. Why? Because that's what the comments say. I'm gay. So. How does that make sense? Oh, dude, yeah, obviously, I made you. I mean, I didn't. Dun, 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 dun. Doesn't work. Yeah, science. Science is always true. It's not a cult. Think about how crazy science is. Like, people never talk about this. So let's just say you go to school, put yourself in all sorts of debt, and your goal is to be a theoretical physicist who specializes in black holes or some shit like that, right? So now you're like $1 million in debt for school, and you finally get yourself, you land the job. You land a good job. You're making $100,000, couple $100,000 a year, whatever it is. Now you have your big nice house. You pay off your student loans, or you're paying off your student loans. But you got a big nice house. You've got this prestigious job where you're like, oh, I'm a theoretical physicist who specializes in black holes. And anybody you tell that to goes, ooh, you must be super smart. And you actually end up with a hotter chick than you normally would just because it comes with your prestige, blah, blah, blah. And you have money and this, that. So now you have kids and your kids all have cars and cell phones and they're going off to college. You got your house payment. Your bills are thousands of dollars every month. And it's paid for by the job that you have that's theoretical bullshit. Like, there's literally nothing you do that actually, well, I look through telescopes every once in a while. But your whole livelihood, your family's livelihood and all that solely depends on whether or not us dumb goyim believe what you say. And let's just say you're one of these people and you fucking you go, wait a minute. You guys, I don't think we live on a round ball flying through space. This doesn't make any sense. Blah, 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 blah. And they go, hey, Irving. You remember Chaim? Remember how he disappeared? Yeah, that was weird. Why? He started asking the same questions you ask. And you're like, wait a minute, what? Listen, dude. You get blackballed. You start talking like that too much. You don't want to get blackballed. Because think about it. If you have this really insignificant job where you're this theoretical, this, that, and the other, and you make all this money and you have this prestige, you can't lose that job and get blackballed from that field and then just, you're going to go get a job. Where else? Where else are you going to get the job that pays you to do basically nothing and live a great life? How are you going to get that job somewhere else? It behooves you to push the narrative for everything about you. Because if you find out there's a hole and you have nothing, You're not trained. What you're trained in doesn't translate to anything that actually matters in this world. You can't go run a company, or, you're probably some goofy chosen, so you're not very athletic. And that's just it's like there's threats, that you go too far, your whole family will disappear. You say too much, we'll do horrible things to your children, blah blah blah, like all that shit. That's how they control them. And it's a reward. There's a tremendous reward in it for you for shutting the hell up. How many of you would break the rules to tell the truth, but lose the $1 million life? I know if I had the $1 million, $20 million, I'd quit. You guys would never see me again. I just start to get paid $20 million. $20 million. Shut up, guy. You'll never see me again. Anyway, I'm out of here. You guys know what to do. Links are in the description. Get free downloads. Go check out the pages. And pedophiles, kill yourself.